The top stories for the hour. Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation unveils a new Parliament TV channel. And Ethiopia registers economic growth of 8.8%. Hello and very warm welcome to ABC World, your new voice of Pan-Africanism. I am Biniam Getana, along with the daily editor, Biniam Alamayo, and the technical crew. Stick around, now the news in a nutshell. ABC unveiled a new TV channel exclusively dedicated to Parliament. Housed in the premises of the Parliament next to the National Palace, the TV station started its very first broadcast this morning with a live transmission. House Speaker Tageset Chafo told Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation that the 547-seat National Assembly has been undertaking several trial and testing before launching this channel, the first of its kind in the entire history of the nation. He added that EBC was picked for this monumental task given its rich history and pioneering efforts in the nation's burgeoning media industry. The newest channel is meant to prop up democratic culture and dialogue in the nation, according to the Speaker. He also expressed hopes that the Parliament, the top law-making and decision-rendering body in the nation, will help involve the public in its endeavors, thanks to assistance provided by the new channel. CEO of the Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation, Biniam Ero, for his part underlined that debates and dialogues preceding the approval of the nations are more important than the act of approval itself, because the host of issues raised and the contribution made by MEPs matter more. According to Tesfaye Beljige, chief government whip with the Parliament, while other nations advance public participation via TV programs and live debates, Ethiopia has been lagging behind. He therefore said a new specially dedicated Parliament channel will nail everything right on the head. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Turune has unveiled a new one-stop service center in Bahar Dar City, marking a major step in Ethiopia's push for modern, efficient civil service delivery. Temesgen announced that national policies and guidelines are now in place to drive innovation across public services. To achieve shared prosperity, we must modernize service delivery and strengthen development capacity, he said. The initiative, which began in Addis Ababa using local resources, is now expanding to regional cities. Temesgen emphasized the importance of accessible, high-quality services for all citizens and stressed the need for digital platforms to keep evolving.
Welcome to Explore It Anyway. I'm at the beautiful city of Addis Ababa. It is the capital of Ethiopia. Now I'm heading toward the Unity Park. It is the most beautiful place in Addis Ababa. This is where Ethiopia's monarchs would meet with the provincial lords to discuss about local issues and land taxes. Distinguished foreign leaders like Queen Elizabeth II, Charles de Gaulle of France, and Joseph Tito of Yugoslavia were also received in this hall during the reign of Emperor Haile Selassie. I have never seen gray-crowned crane before. These are incredibly beautiful birds. I love the fact that I'm being able to see those birds from very close. Now I'm heading toward the banquet hall. It is a very colorful building, I would say. It was constructed during the reign of Menelik II. It has a capacity of 8,000 people.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you're watching EBC World, the new voice of Pan-Africanism. As the news continues, Ethiopia's economic recorded an impressive 8.8% growth in the just concluded 2024 and 25 fiscal year. President Taye Asqassalasie announced it during the joint opening session of the House of People Representatives and the House of Federation. Highlighting the government efforts to stimulate economic activity, President Taye credited the robust growth to the effective implementation of a comprehensive macroeconomic reform program. Our reporter Kasan Jane takes it from here.
Ethiopia's President Taye Asqassalasie announced a stunning 8.8% growth in the nation's economy for the 2017 fiscal year. This announcement delivered the opening parliament signals a major turning point. President Taye credits large-scale infrastructure projects like the long-awaited completion of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and bold economic reforms.
በአዲሱ ዓመት መባቻ የበርካታ ዓመታት ቁጭታችንና የጥረታችን ውጤት የሆነውን የታላቁ ህዳሴ ግድብ ያስመረቀበት
The new year will be remembered in history as we completed the Renaissance Dam, which has been a long-standing issue, produced natural gas and launched major projects. The Ethiopian economy is on the rise based on the implemented macroeconomic reforms. The Ethiopian economy has been under the influence of contemporary challenges for centuries and has been under head debt pressure. The government has also implemented rapid and large-scale economic reforms that will correct economic imbalances and lead to economic prosperity. The government is now opening a crucial phase to transform the economy from debt dependence to economic sovereignty. The foundations of economic transformations are also focused on recognizing our potential, seeing opportunities in difficulties, and achieving sustainable goals creatively and quickly. By doing so, efforts have been made to overcome the burden of debt, solve problems with our own strengths, and move from an exclusionary economic system to a participatory and conducive environment, thereby ensuring the benefits of the people. The Ethiopian economy recorded 8.8% growth in the 2000 fiscal year through large-scale works.
በፊት ይመዘገብ የነበረው እድገትም በዘላቂ የፋይናንስ መሰረት ላይ ያልተዋቀረ አገርን ለከፍተኛ ዕዳ የዳረገና የማክሮ ኢኮኖሚ መዛባቶችን የፈጠረ ነበር።
According to the president, these reforms championed by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed aim to liberate Ethiopia from crippling debt and build a truly self-reliant economy. President Taye emphasized a shift towards recognizing internal potential and creatively tackling challenges, ensuring our benefits reach all citizens, while acknowledging the historic struggles with debt and economic imbalances. The president expressed optimism. Further in the matter, President Taye also said that the government aims to foster an economic system where potential is nurtured and sustainable goals are reached quickly. This growth promises increased opportunities, job creation, and a stronger future for all Ethiopians, he underscored.
Well, you're still watching EBC World. Now we get close to the What is Trending segment where we update you what has been unfolding in the continent Africa. Particularly today, a historic milestone has been registered as EBC launches its first new state-of-the-art channel in the parliament. And there has been also several discussions in the joint opening session of the House of People's Representatives and the House of Federation, which happened in several ways here in the capital Addis Ababa. And now I'm joined by my colleague Sintayo Tamrat to highlight me some of the very point that has happened and touching on some of the core points that are raised. And Sintayo, very warm welcome to this segment.
Thank you, Binyam.
So today we know the fact that there has been a historic milestone happened in the capital Addis Ababa. Sure. As I said, EBC launches its state-of-the-art television channel, Parliament channel, which is the first of its kind in the country and historically as well. In the meantime, we have also seen and witnessed the fact that the joint session of the House of People's Representatives and the House of Federations have carried out several activities, opening the segment by President Taye Asqassalasseh, who underscored several points. So what are the major or the core points that have been spoken at length?
Well, so President Taye Asqassalasseh has just mentioned two major areas, and these are the achievements of the previous year and the plans or the priority areas of the government for the 2018 Ethiopian fiscal year. And he said that just the very focus is on the macroeconomic reform, and that was on implementation in the previous year, as well as the priority areas of this macroeconomic reform implementation for the next year. So the macroeconomic reform was well studied, taking just some long years, and that is why it has been fruitful, and it just tried to show some promising results, and Ethiopia's economic situation is now growing, changing, he said. And Ethiopia was just in deep dates before the reform started, and as the reform began, the country has started reviving that, and now it is just in a very good way, and the country is changing, as well as it is on a decisive chapter of change, the president indicated. And last year, 8.8% economic growth has been registered, and Ethiopia hosted 150 international and continental conferences, signaling that the country's capability for conference tourism. And government made huge loans, and of these 70%, which is a huge amount according to the president, went to the private sector, and the government gave huge attention for the export sector. This just makes huge, just narrows the gap between the export and import. So the trade gap is narrowed some way. So the focus the government gave for the export sector has proved promising as well. And on inflation, the government wanted the inflation to be reduced to single digits, but it was 13.9%, which was promising decrease. And the year before last year, in 2016 Ethiopian calendar, it was 19%, the inflation. And then for the next year, government wants that to be of single digit. And regarding the social aspect, the education sector, government here focused on the quality of education and disease, just in the health sector, disease prevention was given much attention, and also curing. And locally producing pharmaceuticals was what the government focused the previous year. And investment on youth, women, and girls, capacity building was another point of the government. On foreign relations, Ethiopia's geostrategic position has shifted from observer status to actor, decision maker in the global as well as regional areas. So that has shown a great progress. That is according to President Taye Asqassalasseh. And government has shown non-stopping efforts to use transboundary water resources. There was this negotiation, there were also some cooperation, and even at expert level there were just some activities that tried to bring together for cooperation the Nile riparian countries, regional countries, so that Ethiopia could use that Nile water, the Abai waters, together with others.
Yeah, maybe we can actually make it quick so that we can summarize with the time I have.
Okay, so for 2018, the government major focuses include no alternative for peace and reconciliation. So there is call for peace, and government focuses on that. Good governance, and good governance is just by delivering service, and this service could be of modernizing public services through digital strategies and programs like the MESO initiative. Government will also work to ensure the free function of the law enforcement and justice system, and the GDP is expected or projected to grow by 9%, and improve quality and variety of export commodities and enhance investment. And the government will also just focus on infrastructure, because infrastructure is driver of economy as well as just the improver of people's lives or life standards. So government will focus on those areas. And when we say infrastructure, the road infrastructure, the airport is telecom infrastructure, and other social infrastructures, for example, like health sectors, or health institutions, schools, universities, and so on. And the world is changing. This is just a big issue. In fact, the world is changing, political economy. So as the world changes or the dynamism is constant, Ethiopia also needs just to adapt herself with this political economic dynamism to ensure peace and security as well as growth and prosperity. So
sorry again, Sentai, for the interruption. I wish we can continue this one, but can you summarize in one line?
Okay, so totally what the President raised was just the achievements were good, and the future, the strategic direction is also put by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his government. In fact, President Taye appreciated the effort from Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his government for the achievement and the strategies for the coming years. So Ethiopia's access to sea is a must, and it has already become international agenda. And the Abai River issue is now on a new shift. This is just what President Taye Asqeslasse has said. Thank you so much, Binyam.
Sentayo Tamara, thank you so much for shedding more light on this pertinent issue unfolding in the capital Addis Ababa in relationship with what has been significantly transforming the country. I really appreciate.
Thank you, Binyam.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we continue the news as we have in here. The joint opening session of the House of People's Representatives in the House of Federation convened this afternoon, marking the start of the 5th year of Ethiopia's 6th parliamentary term. In his address, President Taye Asqeslasse reaffirmed that Ethiopia's foreign policy is now firmly rooted in the national interest and the dignity of its people, signaling a decisive shift from reactive diplomacy to proactive agenda-driven engagement. Jerusalem Bezaya has compiled the full story. Have a listen.
In line with constitutional provisions, President Taye Asqeslasse has officially announced the opening of the annual legislative session of both houses and presented the federal government's annual work plan for the 2018 Ethiopian calendar year. Speaking on the occasion, President Taye opened his address by highlighting Ethiopia's recent milestones, the inauguration of the Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and the launch of the first phase of the Ogaden liquefied natural gas project in Somali region.
በአዲሱ ዓመት መባቻ የበርካታ ዓመታት ቁጭታችንና የጥረታችን ውጤት የሆነውን
In this new year, we are celebrating the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which stands at the fruit of our many years of perseverance and hard work. At the beginning of the Ethiopian month of Maskaram, we witnessed the extraction of our country's natural gas, an abundant natural resource and a symbol of prosperity in our land. By utilizing our natural wealth, we have embarked on major development projects that serve as a blueprint for our progress. As such, I have no doubt that this era could become a defining new chapter in our nation's history.
The President reiterated that Ethiopia's foreign policy remains firmly rooted in safeguarding the nation's interests and upholding the dignity of its people.
በዚህ መነሻነትም የኢትዮጵያ የጂኦ ስትራቴጂያዊ ቁመና በመደርጀት ላይ ይገኛል።
Centered on these core principles, Ethiopia's approach to international relations has been strategically organized, reflecting its evolving geostrategic importance. As a result, Ethiopia is shifting from simply reacting to global developments to actively setting the agenda on regional and international platforms.
The President reaffirmed Ethiopia's commitment to the principle of mutual benefit and the use of transboundary resources. He also emphasized the government's renewed focus on securing access to sea outlets.
አስተማማኝና ዘላቂነት ያለው የባህር በር የማግኘት ጉዳይ ከፍ ወዳለ ደረጃ የተሸጋገረ ሲሆን
The issue of securing a reliable and sustainable access to a sea outlet has reached a high level of importance. Its significance has also gained increased recognition at the international level. In this regard, Ethiopia is undertaking diplomatic and peaceful efforts to strengthen cooperation and agreements that align with the shared development interests of its neighbors.
Ambassadors, representatives of international organizations, religious leaders, prominent national figures, and other invited guests have attended the session.
And now a reminder of the top stories once again. EBC unveils a new Parliament TV channel. And Ethiopia registered